Hey everybody, today we're back to talk about plyometrics, and the reason we do plyometrics are first to improve sports performance, but we can also use plyometrics as part of our rehab plans. Now if we talk about the two models of plyometrics, we take a look at this board here. There's a mechanical model and a neurophysiological model. So the mechanical model basically says that your muscles have elastic properties like a rubber band. So when we stretch that rubber band, just like when we put a muscle on a quick stretch, it can achieve a more powerful contraction. The neurophysiological model is the stretch reflex. And we take a look at the other side of this board. On the left here, the pink area is a muscle with muscle spindles. So when these muscle spindles are placed on stretch, an afferent message gets sent to the spinal cord, and then from there it goes into a direct efferent message to cause a muscle contraction. So this is called a monosynaptic reflex, which is in your lab. So it's a quick eccentric contraction that causes a powerful muscle contraction. So these are two forces at play that help us achieve a powerful muscle contraction with plyometrics. There's three phases of a plyometric exercise. One is an eccentric contraction. So if we lower into an eccentric contraction, and the amortization phase is the phase between the eccentric and concentric contraction, and then we have the concentric. So if we're doing a jump squat, as we land into the jump, that's the eccentric, and then we go into the concentric, and the period between those two is the amortization phase, and we want to try to keep that as short as possible. Otherwise, that energy is lost as heat. If we're talking about designing a program, we want to keep in mind the foot contacts. So in a single plyometric session, we want to keep our beginners to under 100 foot contacts per session, intermediate up to 150, and advanced can do up to 200 per session. Regarding some safety precautions, there are some prerequisites before you do plyometrics that are in your lab. We also want to consider the surface. Ideally, a soft surface like a wrestling mat would be the perfect surface to perform plyometrics. We want to make sure our progression is appropriate. DL means double leg, so we want to start with double leg activities before we go to single leg. We want to do some lower box activities before we get involved in depth jumps. And we want to give a break between 48 and 72 hours in between plyometric sessions. First, we're going to warm up what we call power skipping, so it's an exaggerated skipping motion. Next, we're going to do ankle jumps. This is more of a warm up where we're trying to keep our body straight as an arrow and land in the same spot each time, and do this for about 20 to 30 seconds. A good beginner exercise is lateral hops over a line. Next, we can progress that to lateral hops over a barrier. As you can see, Henry shows us that he can do it too. Speed skaters are a good way to introduce single leg jumping, and it's great for knee and ankle rehab. When doing jump squats, touch the ground outside your legs with each repetition. Perform about 10 to 15 repetitions. A great way to progress jump squats is to do them with a quarter turn and a half turn. With the lunge jump, you want to land with the hips and knees in a 90-90 position. This can be progressed to the cycled lunge jump, also known as a cycled split squat. Then we can progress with front barrier jumps. The lateral box shuffle is a good way to introduce some single leg activity, and is really a good sports specific exercise for pushing off one leg, such as going up for a rebound in basketball. Jump would be the end of the progression. This is one with a vertical jump. We can also do a depth jump with a horizontal jump. Next is the quadrant jump. We're teaching the athlete to stick and hold the landing. This is more of a rehab exercise. So we're going to teach the athlete to land with the knee bent about 30 degrees, hold that landing, and watch for any knee valgus. Our home workout tips for today are ways to work the triceps. We can use the towel wrapped around the pole. We can also do tricep dips on a chair. So our rowing representation today was this rowing hat. That's it for plyometrics. Remember to keep in mind, always start off with lower intensity exercises using both legs, and then progress to using barriers, boxes, and depth jumps as you progress the athlete. See you next time. Thanks for watching.